If I give you a list of exact behaviors that would wreck your relationship, would you still choose to ignore them? Because right now, someone out there is dating a walking red flag, and guess what? They think it's love, but what they're really in is a ticking time bomb wrapped in sweet words and false promises. The truth is, most people, they don't miss red flags because they weren't there. They miss them because they didn't want to see them. They confuse chemistry for compatibility, trauma for passion. They stay because of the hope of who someone could become instead of walking away for the reality of who they really are. Some of you are sleeping with betrayal and calling it love. Others are explaining away emotional abuse and calling it just their personality. But love, it's not supposed to, make you anxious. Love's not supposed to keep you guessing. If you feel more confused and cherished, more drained than fulfilled, then that's a damn warning. This video, it might hurt, but it'll also wake you up, because I'd rather offend you with truth than comfort you in staying somewhere that's destroying your peace. But before we begin, if you end up getting any value out of this video, don't forget to smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, make sure you check out this video right here where I talk about the #1 reason why they keep cheating on you. And trust me, I hit you with some truth bombs that you're not going to want to hear. Or maybe you are. But today, this video, we're talking 10 red flags that you can't afford to ignore, and why ignoring even one could cost you everything. And make sure you stay to the end, because number 9 and number 10 are the ones that you definitely want to keep your eye out for. But in no particular order, let's begin. Red flag number 1, they take their phone everywhere. Now, if someone you're dating is so glued to their phone that they can't even go pee, brush their teeth, or throw the trash out without it, then you're clearly dating someone who treats privacy like a full-time job. I mean, who takes their phone with them just to throw the trash out? Or to go grab a water bottle from the fridge real quick? That's not normal. Honestly, that's suspicious. If they didn't mind sharing their passcode to unlock their phone, but all of a sudden they change the code and refuse to share it anymore, well, that's a red flag. If they didn't mind leaving their phone charging at a nightstand next to you overnight, and all of a sudden, they have to sleep with it under their pillow even though their phone's about to die, that's a red flag. Now, I understand that everyone deserves privacy, but when someone starts hiding behind their screen, that's not privacy, that's secrecy. This is one of the most common signs that something shady is going on. And even if they're not cheating, the lack of transparency is enough to rot trust from the inside out. A healthy relationship, it doesn't make you feel paranoid, it gives you peace. But when their phone becomes a third person in the relationship, then you're no longer in love. You're in surveillance mode, and you shouldn't need detective skills to feel secure in love. Trust isn't built on locked screens and sneaky bathroom trips. It's built on openness. And if you don't have that, well, you have nothing. Red flag number 2, they are overly controlling. You ever date someone who treats you like a sim character, telling you what to wear, where to go, who to follow, when to come home, as if your existence is theirs to manage? You see, controlling behaviors always start small. It sounds like, I just don't like it when you hang out with them. Or, you should text me when you get there. And then boom, all of a sudden you're in a chokehold of checking in and explaining yourself like you're on probation. Understand that love, it's not control. Love doesn't monitor. Love doesn't micromanage. Love doesn't punish you for having your own life. Love doesn't chain you. It chooses you freely every day. I believe that behind every controlling partner is a person who fears losing control. And they'll disguise the fear as care. They say, I just want to protect you. No, what they want is power. Let me remind you, God didn't create you to be someone's puppet. You weren't born to shrink yourself just to keep a partner calm. And if you have to lose yourself to keep them, well, you've already lost the wrong person. You've lost yourself. Red flag number 3, they're rude to others. How someone treats people tells you everything about who they are. You might think you're dating Prince Charming until the server at the restaurants, forgets the ranch. Suddenly, they snap. They roll their eyes, they curse underneath their breath, or, they might go full Karen mode on someone just trying to do their job. Or maybe they constantly talk crap about their exes or even their own friends, like tearing, others down is their hobby. That sounds like a broken ego to me. You see, kindness is not a performance. And if their respect is reserved only for you, but everyone else gets the scraps, one day, well, you'll be in the receiving end of the same disrespect. Rudeness is a preview. And what starts as sarcasm can turn into contempt over time. Today is a waiter, tomorrow is your dreams. It starts with passive digs and it ends with them belittling you in front of others. I want you to realize that respect, it's not selective. Integrity doesn't clock in and out. And the Bible says in Luke 6:45, out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. If disrespect flows out of their mouth often, well, it's because that's what fills their heart. Pay attention to how they treat the ones who can do nothing for them, because that's who they really are. Red flag number 4, they lack basic courtesy. Now, I know we're in 2025 and everyone's out here, being equal, but don't let modern dating fool you. Chivalry is not dead. It's just rare, Holding a door open, walking on the street side, or walking to your door to get you as opposed to honking at you to let you know that he's outside. There's signs of honor. If someone doesn't care to do the small things, you better believe that they won't step up for the big ones, because how you do little things reveals how you'll handle everything else. There's a saying that goes, how you do something is how you do everything. Now, I'm not saying to ask for, grand gestures or Hollywood moments. We're talking about the fundamentals: respect, thoughtfulness, and presence. It's my opinion that a man who's emotionally, mature leads with kindness and protection, and a woman who values you will reciprocate that with appreciation and support. It's not about gender roles. It's about relational effort. If you constantly feel like you're chasing decency, well, that's a red flag. Love shouldn't feel like begging for breadcrumbs. If they can't serve you in the small ways, they will fail you in the moments that truly count. I understand that you might not need a superhero, but you do need someone who shows up with heart. Don't settle for someone who won't even open a door, because trust me, they'll never open their heart either. Red flag number 5, they physically abuse you. There are no gray areas in this big, huge red flag. If they hit you once, if they push you once, if they throw something at you once, don't let them tell you that they made a mistake and that they're sorry. No, that was not a mistake. That was a warning shot, and it will escalate. Physical abuse, it doesn't always, start with a punch. Sometimes it starts with slamming a wall, grabbing your wrist too tightly, and somehow will convince you that it's your fault. They'll tell you, look at what you made me do. No, you didn't make them do anything. They chose violence. And if you excuse it once, it teaches them that your pain has a price, and that price is your silence. The Bible says your body is a temple. And if someone desecrates that temple in the name of love, you don't pray harder. You pack up and you leave. One time is enough. You don't need bruises to prove it was abused. You don't need a black eye to prove your heart is broken. And you do not need to wait for things to get worse, because if they've already put hands on you once, it won't get better going forward. Believe that. Red flag number 6, they never take accountability. Now, nothing's ever their fault. It's always someone else, their boss, their ex, their parents, you, the rain, the moon. Everyone's the problem except the one constant in every problem: them. And what's even worse, they're great at flipping the script. You come to them calmly about how they hurt you, and the next thing you know, you're apologizing. Let me tell you something. Love cannot grow in a relationship where no one owns their stuff. If you're with someone who refuses to say, I was wrong, they're not building a partnership. They're defending a kingdom, and it's a kingdom where they are always the innocent victim and you and everyone else are the villains. Relationships require humility. It takes courage to say, I messed up, but the person who never does, they don't want to grow. They want to control the narrative. I believe that growth begins at confession, and if they can't even admit fault, there's no future. Red flag number 7, they have double standards. They can go out with friends, stay in contact with their ex, like and follow Instagram pages of someone who's always posting half-naked pictures, and it's no problem. But the second you do any of that, suddenly it's disrespectful. You're inconsiderate. You're a bad person. Double standards are a sneaky form of control. They make you question your actions while they never question theirs. It's like they've given themselves a VIP, pass to disrespect, but handed you the rule book for loyalty. This is someone who demands grace but gives you none. Someone who expects transparency but lives in secrecy. Someone who talks about trust but plays games behind your back. Listen to me. Love does not operate off of convenience. It operates off of consistency. The same things that they expect from you should be modeled with themselves. You know what that's called? It's called integrity. But when one person gets to walk on clouds while the other walks on eggshells, that's dictatorship. God created relationships to be partnerships, not power plays. If they need one set of rules for them and a different set of rules for you, then you'll burn yourself out trying to meet expectations that they never had to meet themselves. Don't let double standards become your new normal, because the more you tolerate them, the less you'll recognize yourself. And by the time you wake up, your self-respect is already gone. Red flag number 8, they isolate you from friends and family. At first, it seems harmless. I just don't vibe with your friends, or your family's too involved in our business. And before you know it, you're canceling plans with your friends, ghosting group chats, and slowly losing connection to the people who love you. All for someone who claims they're doing out of love. Well, let me tell you what this really is. It's isolation. And it's one of the most dangerous red flags there is. Toxic people want control the narrative. They want to become the only voice in your life. They'll plant seeds like, your friends don't really support you. Your mom doesn't like me. She's trying to ruin us. Everyone's jealous of us. And slowly they chip away at your community until the only person left standing in your corner is the abuser themselves. I need you to listen to me very clearly. Real love doesn't isolate. It integrates. Real love wants to meet your people, show up to your friends and family gatherings, and be welcomed by your tribe. Because love is not threatened by community, it builds it. And if someone's mission is to separate you from everyone who loves you, then you're dating an emotional prison guard. And you were never meant to, do life alone, especially not with someone who's making you lonelier than ever. Red flag number 9, they just got out of a long-term relationship. Breakups can be messy. Healing takes time. If someone just got out of a 3+ year relationship, for example, and are already diving head first, wanting something with you, chances are they haven't healed. They haven't processed. They haven't unpacked the last heartbreak. And now they're trying to, decorate a new relationship with you with old baggage still in the hallway. What I'm also trying to say is, you are the rebound. There is no other way to put it. And did you know that 90% of rebound relationships, they fail within 3 to 6 months, not because the next person is bad, but because unfinished pain always bleeds into new beginnings. Don't let someone use you as their escape plan. You're not the Band-Aid for their broken history. You're a whole human being who deserves a relationship built on clarity, not confusion. If they haven't healed, they shouldn't date, period. And if you sense that they're still emotionally entangled with their ex, be bold enough to walk. Because love that starts on shaky ground will always crumble when storms come. And guess what? They always come. Red flag number 10, they still follow their ex on social media. I know this sounds petty. You might be thinking, come on, Raph, it's just Instagram. But if they're still following their ex, still liking their posts, still watching their stories, that's digital proximity, and proximity invites temptation. You see, when someone refuses to cut ties with their ex, they're leaving the door cracked open. They might not be walking through it yet, but trust me, that ex still has access. And you have to ask yourself, well, why? Are they keeping that for, ego? Are they keeping that for options, for nostalgia? Or worse, are they waiting for a moment to check in again when things with you get hard? See, social media is today's version of staying emotionally tethered. And if they've, truly moved on, there should be no emotional need to keep tabs on someone they claim it's just their past. This isn't about insecurity. It's about boundaries. And if someone refuses to create a healthy digital distance from someone they used to sleep with, cry over, or call babe, that's not respect. That's recklessness. Understand that it's okay to expect digital boundaries. It's okay to want a partner who's fully present, not half-heartedly available while still reminiscing with their what ifs. You deserve someone who deletes them from all apps before they delete your peace. Because in the end, love's not about who you can hold on to. It's about who you're willing to let go of to protect the one that's staring at you in front of a mirror. So there you have it, 10 red flags you cannot afford to ignore. Know that red flags, they don't turn green within time. They grow redder, brighter, and in some cases more dangerous. I always say that some people are lessons, some are blessings, and some are both. But I want you to have clarity that the people that you entertain now are the preview of your future. So don't audition for a role in someone else's toxic movie. Walk out of that theater, because love isn't supposed to feel like fear. It's not supposed to feel like you're walking on eggshells, and you were never created to settle for someone who makes your spirit feel smaller just to keep them close. Always protect your peace like your future depends on it. Well, like I always say, because it does. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you know anyone that might benefit from hearing these red flags, please do share it with them. And the YouTube algorithm suggests that you might like one of these videos as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on one of these. Peace.